up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Middle Child Podcast with your girl, Royal Bose. And as always, you are seen here, you are loved here, and you are appreciated here. As promised, I told you that we were going to take a dive into the entertainment industry. We're about to hit on all levels. You know, my background is production management. So I'm super excited to actually have people come into my space and kind of give me a look on things that I was scared to even take a look on. So I have this amazing lady, beautiful voice, beautiful everything. They reached out to me and they was just like, hey, we got somebody that we really want you to check out. I was like, all right, cool, let's do it. And plus, I ain't really have that many females on this season, so I really had to bring somebody in. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the also amazing Miss Karléh. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, Karléh.
Yes. I've been messing up people's names like all season.
Really?
But how are you today?
I'm good. I feel great. It's a beautiful environment.
Thank you. That was my goal. I wanted it to be very laid back where people are comfortable and they can just like let it all out.
Yeah. No, we gonna we there.
Yes, I'm excited. All right, so I like to ask people all the time, if you could describe your life right now in one word, what would it be?
Hectic.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. Okay, elaborate for me just a little bit.
Oh my gosh, it's like every time I show people my calendar, they're just like, how are you doing all that? It's just a lot. It's a lot. I'm an artist. I'm a performing artist. I have a bunch of ambassador deals right now that are pretty cool. And then I'm also an insurance agent and I'm a mom. Oh. Yes. And my daughter, she's just like, she's now getting super active. She's in piano, basketball, Chinese school. It's a lot. So I have to bust a move every single day. Nice.
Was transitioning into like work-life balance hard for you, or was it just kind of, it just worked in?
I feel like over the years, I've just like been able to figure out how to work smarter, not harder. So I used to be a teacher and I was an athletic director, track, basketball coach, and it was just a lot. Like it's a lot of hours, but it's very rewarding and very fulfilling. But I was like, you know, as an artist, I need more time. Like my biggest asset is time, right? So it was just kind of like, how do I work less but make more money? Yeah. So that's kind of like, that's been my path over the last year and a half, and it's been good.
That's good. That is good to hear.
Thank you.
Okay, so we definitely got you here because of your beautiful voice. Of course, a lot of other things. But music, how did you get into music?
So I was really honestly born into it. My dad is a musician, an artist. His parents are musicians, singers. And I always told people I was forced to learn how to sing. That was not like an option. It wasn't like, I want to sing. It was like, sing this note. Okay, we're in the key of C. Are you ready? So it was just, it's been in me my whole life. Watching my dad be a musician, he really pushed me to be an athlete. He was like, you know, doing music doesn't make the money. And he was like, if you get good at sports, you can go to college for free. I did that, right? I went to Yale. I was a track and field athlete, but the whole time I was there, I was like, I was honestly depressed because I wasn't making music. Right. So when I finished, I finally decided I'm going to take music seriously.
Nice. Oh my goodness. That's another thing we always touch on here is you don't feel fulfilled until you're walking in purpose. And so like music is purposeful for you.
Yeah. And I was always writing music since I was very young, like 4 years old. But throughout college, I would write songs, but then I wouldn't like put them together. Yeah. Yeah. So I was just like, I have all this music in me. And then I would go home and visit like my family, my cousins, or just like my high school friends, and everyone was making music. Yeah. And I would just be like, well, there's one day I went home for winter break and I just cried. Cause my friends from high school, they like showed me the music they had been working on and stuff. And I was just like, what am I doing?
At this school, right? Yeah. All right. So did you start off like in a group once you actually jumped out there, or was it just like I'm doing solo regardless?
The way I really started was I moved back to New Orleans after a few years after graduating college, and I was dating somebody. He was this amazing person, but he was murdered. And before maybe a week before he was murdered, we were listening to the radio, just chilling in the truck listening, and this song came on by Anthony Hamilton. And I just remember feeling like overwhelmed with emotion and feeling like this song describes how I feel about my man.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to do this song. I want to cover this song and I want to put a New Orleans bounce beat on it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be lit. And he was like, that's a good idea. You need to do that. And I was like, yeah. And then we never did it. So after he passed, I was like, it took me like several months to like be a person again. But I was like, I want to fulfill what we talked about. So,
Nice.
yeah. So I went and recorded Best of Me with this engineer. He now has like several Grammys. I don't even know how many anymore. But at the time he didn't, right? People referred me to him. They were like, he can help you with what you're trying to do. So I go to the studio. I don't have no instrumental. He's like, what are you? And I was like, this is my first time. Like, he's like, how are we going to record? You don't have the music. And I was like, well, you play the keys, right? These people said, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So we produced that song on site. Like we did the whole song in 3 hours. We sat there, we produced it. We put the beat on there. I got in there, did my vocals, and I uploaded it, and I really didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And the song took off. I didn't even know that it took off because I wasn't on TikTok. But like a year later, I got TikTok. I downloaded TikTok, and I'm scrolling, and then I see there's a video of someone playing golf, and my song is on there.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I must know him. Who is he? I'm like, I don't know this man. So then I click on the sound, and it had, at that point, over 1,000 videos that had been created to the song. And I was like, but yeah, so ever since then, now we're almost at like 4,000 videos. We're past 2 million views. Yeah. So that's like how it started, honestly.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
It's amazing how things work when you just like, you're in your moment, you create it, and you just let it do what it does.
Right. Yeah.
So do you feel like that you have to top that every time you go in the studio?
Not really. Okay. So the crazy thing is, for the whole year that the song was going crazy, I didn't know it was going crazy.
Yeah.
So that whole year, I'm working with a manager, multiple different managers, and like, we got to get a song. Yeah. So it's like, we were doing all these songs, and I really think all the songs are great. But it's like, I'm doing all these songs and not realizing I have a hit right now. Yeah. So I feel like every song I release is a banger. Good. Honestly. Yeah. All
right, guys. So we're definitely going to give you the where to listen to her music at. Voice is beautiful. I said that again. I'm probably gonna say that 1,000 times here. Yeah. But you mentioned that you're from New Orleans. Is that what gave you kind of like your footing for music?
Yeah. So I grew up in a small town like outside New Orleans. It's called Gonzales, but my whole family was musical. And I would see my dad, he would go to New Orleans, for his gigs. He was always to and from New Orleans. And I could just really see how it impacted him. So when I graduated college, I was like, I'm going to go to New Orleans. Yeah. And yeah, it's like such a creative place. Like,
it is.
Everyone does something creative. And I feel like it's really normalized to be creative there. Whereas like in other places, like people like, get a job, But in New Orleans, it's like, yeah, you're a creative. That's
for sure. I lived there I tried it twice. The first time I think I stayed for like 6 months. Second time I stayed for a year. But my first time it was because in school, because I have a production management background, and they said that New Orleans was the new LA because you can kind of turn it into what you need it to be for, I guess, like the tax credits. So that's what they considered New Orleans back then.
When was that?
Oh, girl, aging myself. I graduated college in 2013.
2013? Okay, that's so interesting.
So yeah, they only because of the tax credit. So like you can turn it into whatever part you wanted it to be, and you get your bang for your buck.
Nice.
So I think that's why they called it that.
That's what's
And I was like, okay, I'm moving to New Orleans.
Yeah, we moved to LA. I was like, what? Yeah, so when I was in high school, like after 9th grade, we moved to California.
Nice.
And so yeah, that's where I was like, a lot of my high school friends, like I said, they were doing music while I was in college. And so it's like wherever we were, but we moved there because my dad was in Hollywood, and he was getting busy.
So was it a culture shock for you?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I grew up in Louisiana, right? Just Louisiana, baby. And it's not very diverse, right? It's very cultural, but it's not super diverse. Moved to California, and it's like, I'm seeing people of all creeds and colors. And it's like, I had to learn not to stare at people, because I'm like, it's just different. I don't know. But I actually learned a lot. Like, I now speak Spanish and Portuguese because of, living in California, being exposed to different cultures and stuff. I got to live in Brazil for a while and everything. But yeah, it was super culture shock. But one thing about it, I feel like everyone really gravitated towards my brother and I because we were so different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they didn't know what we were saying. We were like, buku. I didn't know that wasn't English, So it was culture shock for us, but it was also culture shock, I feel like, for everybody around us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we came after Katrina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was like, we're sitting there telling people like, y'all complain about, I don't know what you complaining about. We didn't eat for weeks, like we didn't have running water, electricity. It's like, this is paradise.
Right? We're in heaven here. So do you think your experience with Katrina helped contribute to some of your music that you have written or is writing now?
Yes, I actually have a song. It's not out yet, but it's kind of about like, the levees breaking and stuff like that. But I think overall, it's like that experience helped me to realize how important family is.
Yeah.
And just the people closest to you. Because honestly, I was very young when Katrina happened, so I didn't really understand America, the United States. Yeah. I just knew Louisiana. And when Katrina happened, it felt like we weren't a part of the United States. Like it felt like nobody cared and like nobody was really coming to help us.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was interesting because I remember like we were watching the news one day when we finally got electricity. And Kanye West was on there talking about George Bush doesn't like black people. Yeah. And I remember like, right. Yeah. Like, that's how I feel. Yeah. Like, so he was always my hero because of that, when he said that. But yeah, I think I always have had like a more like worldly perspective because of that hurricane. And then the following there were more hurricanes after that. Like, yeah, it's like I could relate to people outside of this country because it's like, you feel like a refugee.
Right. Okay, so I also know that you have is it a nonprofit in New Orleans?
Right. So I'm the president of the board of the nonprofit. It's economic development. Okay. So we just do a lot, right? So one initiative that we're actually working on right now is a flood insurance policy for business owners that they don't have to necessarily pay into, maybe for the pilot, but it will help like all the businesses in our Main Street corridor. Right now, a lot of business owners don't have flood insurance because it's just extremely expensive. There's like an insurance crisis going on. And so since I've been learning about insurance and being a part of the insurance industry, I was trying to figure out how can we solve this issue in New Orleans, because if there's like another flood and all these business owners are impacted, that is going to have an extremely negative impact on our city. And that's like one thing that tends to happen in New Orleans is a lot of people attempting gentrification, but also like people trying to gentrify, but we fight back. Like we do what we can to fight back. But destabilizing events like floods and hurricanes is what creates that environment for people to just swoop in and completely change the face of what our city looks like. So I've dedicated a lot of my time in the last few years to working with this organization. They nominated me to be the president, so I'm representing us. And I just want people to know about this flood insurance policy because I do want community support for it.
For sure, for sure. Well, we thank you for thinking about your community, thinking about how to help us in ways that we don't even know, like having a voice, just being the voice for us when we don't know what to do. Because when, tragedy happens, it's just kind of like, you're frustrated. You don't know what questions to ask. And so we applaud you for even thinking about it.
Thank you. I feel like as a kid, I just remember feeling like I want to be someone that can do something. Yeah. Yeah.
Philanthropist.
Yeah.
Come on, girl. I'm trying to find my foot in that world.
Really?
Of how to make that change. But it's just been like recently since I've developed purpose. And so, yeah.
Oh, I would love to donate to our cause.
Okay. For sure. For sure. Anywhere I can help. Thinking of that, can you tell the people how they can donate?
You guys can donate by going to broadcommunityconnections.org.
Nice. All right, guys, we definitely will drop that at the bottom. I don't know why I'm stuttering today, but whatever. So back into the music industry. What's been your highlight? What's that exciting moment for you?
The most exciting moment it's so hard because I don't have like the footage. Yeah. But I performed at Jazz Fest a couple years ago with the Stooges brass band. Really? They backed me. They played my original music. That's right when I had released Cliché. And they played Cliché and we turned up. It was amazing. The crowd, I couldn't even see the end of the crowd. Like that's how many people were there. So that's like probably like my most exciting performance and experience.
Were you expecting that moment, or did it just like, hey, we need you to do this?
Yeah, it was like maybe like 2 weeks before. My manager at the time was like, yeah, so the Stooges Brass Band, they like your song and they want you to come perform with them on their set at Jazz Fest. Thought he was joking.
Right.
I was like, that's not true. That's not happening.
Man, so how do you prepare to do a performance?
I feel like I'm always preparing for a performance. Like I'm always like kind of in performance mode. Like if you could ask me to sing at any time, I'm a perform.
Yeah.
Like, so I feel like this has been since I was a kid.
Yeah.
When I would get home from school, my dad would be like, sing E flat, just sing. And I just had to do it. Yeah. Right. So I just had to always be ready. And then growing up in church, you know, my grandma, come on, baby. So I just had to be ready. For the Stooges Brass Band, I don't know. I think it's like when I met them the day before, they brought me to the studio and we played the song again, and they kind of like shared how they really liked the song, and then we just kind of felt it out and vibed to it, and that's what it is for me. It's a vibe, and we're gonna share this vibe with everybody.
Nice. So is your preparation the day of kind of like, are you just quiet in your
I try to be on vocal rest as much as I can. Now that I'm a mom, it's hard to be on vocal rest, honey. But I think it's just like getting my mindset into like, okay, I'm doing this not for me but for all the listeners, so I want to make sure that my heart is open and that my vibe is open so that people can participate.
Yeah. Nice. Do you think your daughter is going to sing?
Oh, she already sings. She sings all my songs. She knows all my songs, like word for word. Like if we're somewhere and someone plays my song, she's performing.
Yeah.
Yes. And she loves to sing. But she's so multi-talented. She does so many things. So I try not to like force any one thing on her and just let her feel a bunch of things out until she figures out what she wants to do.
Oh my goodness. That is so beautiful.
She just wrote a song the other day and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is killing. My first song was like maybe like 8 lines.
Yeah.
She had a full page. She taped it on her door. And I was like, so we like read the lyrics. We're like, this is amazing. And so then the next day she was like, all right, you guys ready? She performs it. And there was like singing, there was rapping, back to sing. I was like, yeah, my baby got it.
She does. She does. Has she written any of your songs? Are you going to let her
write my song? Yeah, if she wants to. Absolutely.
Oh, that'll be so dope.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Look, I can't wait to have a little girl. All right.
Best thing ever.
No,
no, it's the best thing ever. It'll challenge because now she's at the age that she's talking back, and, you know. But it's just amazing to see like a little me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very healing.
Oh my goodness. I told y'all like we did good. All right. So music industry. I'm sure you've had experience going to like different parties, different events. What is that? How is that for you?
Yeah. So when I first like moved to Atlanta and started getting involved with the industry, that's when I learned that, okay, like parties and networking, like that's a big part of it. Like I really was more of the person that like, I just want to get in the studio and release the music. Like they don't need to hear me talk. They don't need to do all that. Like they just need to hear the song. But no, I had to, interact. But it's been really cool. Like I've met so many cool people. My song, The Recipe, was actually produced and recorded everything at Keith Sweat's house. Okay. Because his team, like they really liked me and they wanted to support me. That's like after I released Best of Me and moved to Atlanta. So that was like my next single. And yeah, it was really cool. It was an amazing experience. And I've kind of learned that like people will just kind of like do stuff for you. Yeah. Like if they see something in you, they'll go out on a limb and be like, let's produce a song for her. And that song went really crazy too. Like the streams, like I think the week we released, it was like 15,000 streams. Nice. And I didn't even do anything. So it's like, it kind of just shows you, depending on who you work with, like you can have different results and just to like keep going.
That's true. And being in alignment with like what you're supposed to be doing. Going back to when you were in school, you were doing sports, but then it was just kind of like, I wasn't happy until I started doing music. And now that you're doing music, things are falling into place in different areas.
I realized that it was my calling. And I remember like God spoke to me at one point and he was like, your life is going to continue to be hard if you don't do what I've called you to do. Jesus. Because I went to Yale. So I was like, I wasn't really exposed to Yale, right? Before I went there. I didn't know what it would be like. I didn't know that other students, like their parents went to Yale or like they knew what Yale was their whole life. Like they came ready to study economics and politics. And I was like,
I'm just here.
I didn't know what to do. So I feel like I just like got through it, but really seeing everybody and what they were doing, it was influencing me. So I was now trying to work in environments that I wasn't familiar with. And I was trying to accomplish things that I wasn't familiar with. I was trying to be like everyone else.
Yeah.
And my life was a struggle. And I just kept being like, why is my life so hard? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, and he told me, he was like, it's going to be like that because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah. Like, I gave you a gift and you're not using it.
Yeah.
So
how was that conversation telling, I guess, your dad, like, we're not doing sports, we're going to focus on this music thing?
So my senior year, I quit track. I did not tell anybody. I didn't ask for permission. I just did it.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot going on at Yale that year. Like, a lot of, like, if you look it up, like, if you Google it, like, Yale 2016, like, you'll see it was a lot of student activism because there was, like, some racist stuff going on. And it was like my friend group.
Yeah.
And everyone started like raising their voice about it, like making awareness, like about what racism. There were colleges that were still named after slave masters, like notorious slave. And I don't want to say their name. That's why I'm not saying it, because it's like they don't deserve for me to say their name on this platform. But inside the college in the dining room, there were photos, paintings.
Yeah.
Like old paintings of slaves picking cotton. And it was just like, if I go sit, eat lunch, dinner, that's what I have to look at.
Right.
And it got to a boiling point because this has been going on. This has been going on for a long time. But it just got to a boiling point, and it was like my class that turned up, and we were protesting. We demanded for them to change the name. I actually was published in the Boston Review with an article about why that symbolism is important, because they try to tell us, well, it's not that important. It's history and we can't erase history. Yeah. And we're like, no, this is what you guys are choosing to make important. Right. And we're here saying we're not vibing with this anymore. As Black students, we don't feel comfortable. We're paying our tuition to go here, and you need to change the name. Yeah. At first they said no, but after more pushback, after we got more community support, they did finally change the name after we all graduated. Yeah. But I mean, it was really cool. I still get calls a lot about it and like interviewed by the Yale Daily News because students now on campus are not allowed to protest. After us, they changed the rules a lot about like student activity and protesting and stuff. And so students did start protesting when things started to blow up about Palestine, the genocide over there. Students started protesting more and getting a lot of pushback. And so then they started reaching out to me. I actually spoke on a panel last year, and they're all very interested because they want to know like how to fight back. Yeah. So yeah, it's been really cool to just be a part of that process and just know like I'm stamped on there, like I'm a civil rights activist. Okay.
Definitely. Where do you think your confidence came from with that?
I think honestly, probably like Hurricane Katrina, like living through that, I felt like I always had a story or a way to encourage people. Right. Like at a young age, like moving to California and having friends, and they would be like struggling, and I would explain to them like, I know this is hard, but I want you to know that I've got through things that are like really, really hard. And, there was a time where my family, we didn't have any food to eat. We could not contact anybody outside of our household for days and weeks at a time. Right. And, and I was just telling them like, you're privileged and you can help be a part of the solution to saving the world, And so it's like, we can't ruminate and just think about like our first world problems. Sometimes we need to like think outside of the box. For sure. Yeah.
It's outside of us. Most of the time our calling and our purpose is because somebody else needs it. And until we step into it, then it's a whole nation out there that's suffering. Right.
Yeah. And so it's like, I never wanted to tell people like, oh, your problems don't matter. But it's like, I wanted to just encourage them to know that like, we can make a difference. For sure. Because during Katrina, it was clear that they did not really want to help us. Yeah. And people were able to amplify our voices and get that help to us and get that aid to us. And I mean, there's documentaries and stuff. You guys know like the story about what really happened. And, but yeah, I always just, because of that experience, I always just felt like I need to help people know about what happened to us. For sure. And then I need to help people know what's happening to other people around the world.
Nice. Well, we thank you. We thank you. I watched the documentary that came out on Netflix like recently.
I can't watch any of them.
Girl.
I can't. Even Lemonade. I could not watch
Really?
that. Really? That was very triggering. It was and I was in college and it was just like, there was already so much going on when that came out. And I watched like a few seconds and I was like, oh no, I can't watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm glad other people watched it.
Because
and they're talking about it.
And granted, it's like years later, but it's just like, I think it pushes us to want to help in whatever way we can now. And so I'm glad that those people, set aside and actually did what they were supposed to do to get the story to us.
I'm glad too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was definitely happy that people were talking about it.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Because on the outside, we just like, oh, okay, cool. But now it's just like, oh, it gets us angry for you guys.
Yeah. And I think it's important. That anger, like righteous anger is really important because it motivates people.
For sure. For sure. Woo! Righteous anger. You definitely hitting the nails on the head. I'm going through a season of like just transitioning now, being more humble, authentic, caring, and willing to learn. I know your manager joked about my books right here, but I am in a season of like just willing to learn. And so this is very edifying. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah. And we're in the year of the fire horse now. So there's going to be like a lot of intense changes going around, like happening in the world, in our inner lives, as well as our outer lives. So
jeez, because it's definitely intense over here right now.
It's intense.
Somebody told me about Murphy's Law, that like everything that can go wrong goes wrong. And I feel like that has been my life this past week.
Well, all the timelines converged.
Really?
In I think it was 2021, December, all the timelines converged. So everything that could go wrong is going to go wrong.
Jeez, I don't like
We have no choice anymore.
I get it. And I'm such a control person. I'm such a control freak to where I have to figure it out. And just getting to a point to where I need to let it go is the hardest thing. It's like, it's a tug of war. So
yeah, I think you're going to be forced to let it go.
Oh, yeah.
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 You won't have a choice. Oh, your suitcase. That's not funny.
Starting with my suitcase. I have to laugh to keep from crying because it's just like, girl.
Yeah, no.
Just knowing that you saw it in one spot and everybody is telling you that it's not there. It's just
crazy.
Like.
It's crazy. It's funny because on that note too, my daughter, she had went to Philly with her dad one time and left her phone in the airport. Girl, they mailed the phone back to us.
That's so sweet.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I didn't, it was like after like a month and a half, but they mailed it back. I don't know. I think their log, whatever their log is, very backed up when it comes to.
Well, they need to speed it up. They need to speed it up because I'm at this. I like to spring into action. I'm very proactive. And so it's like as soon as everything happened, I'm emailing this person, reaching out. Like I'm not listening to everybody saying, oh yeah, give it 3 to 5 days. It's like, no, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
But what's driving me is people not responding back. And so it's like you're leaving your life in somebody else's hands. And I'm just like.
I'm praying that suitcase falls on your porch like how mine did. Because, it's like, what else can you do?
Right. And that's what my best friend said. She's like, you literally can't do anything else. And I'm just
That's so funny. But that might actually be like your test for this year. It's like, I'm forcing you to let it go.
Girl. The other part is, before I left, I prayed for something big to happen. Because I needed to switch my path in life. Yeah. And I was like, hey, God, I need something drastic to happen, but not too drastic like me losing a parent or anything like that. So just make something drastic happen that redirects my focus. My best friend yesterday, she was like, maybe that was the drastic. I said, my clothes though? Like, but it's so gracious. I'd rather it have been that than something else.
Oh, yeah.
But still trying to come to the idea of it'll all work out. Because somebody tell you it'll all work out. It's like, yeah, it could all work out and I not get my clothes.
And it will. Like, and that's what we were talking about, like staying on that frequency of knowing it's going to work out is the reason it's going to work out.
Yeah. That's the control part of me. Because it's kind of like I want it to work out this way, not this way. But like you said, I think this is the season for me where it's going to force me to just be like, oh, that's going to be fun. I'm going to make sure I inbox you personally and be like, look.
Yes, please keep me updated. I'm so invested now.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Well, thank you. All right. So back to parties because I believe you got invited to a.
So that's the thing. I was not invited to the Diddy party.
Okay.
They drove me there. So let me back up. BET Awards. Was it 2022?
Yeah.
2022. It was like right after I think I released the song that I did with Key Sweat, right? Okay. So it's like now I'm in the industry now, right? So I go to the BET Awards. It's an amazing experience. Shout out to Michael Stimley. You know, he got me credentials. I got to walk on I think it was a blue carpet that year. And I got to meet like some amazing people. But when you're at the BET Awards, like a lot of people don't even go to the show. They're waiting to find out where's the party. Yeah. There's so many parties. Okay. It's so many. So I did get invited to like a party with like an Empire party and a couple of other parties. And I'm like, I want to go to those. Like, record labels. I want a record deal. Like I'm new. Like come on, I'm ready. So I at the time I was working with a stylist and she was working with an artist from Love and Hip Hop. And she wanted me and that artist, she's a rapper. I'm not gonna name her name, but she wanted me and that artist to like just bond and just be together because she went to the BET Awards and she didn't have tickets to the show. So she didn't have like really access to anything. So she was like, you know, can you just help her get in and all that? And I'm like, I'm not on Love and Hip Hop, but whatever. So I help her get into the BET Awards. And afterwards, like she was working, okay, I'm not gonna say too much, but basically her driver, we get after the BET Awards, we get in the car and we're like, all right, we're gonna figure out which party we got invited to so many parties. I'm like, let's go to the Empire party. She and her driver are like, well, we have the address for the Diddy party. Yeah. I'm like, okay, but you know, we weren't invited. I was like, from what I know, like those are private parties. Yeah. Like, and we weren't invited. So I'd rather go to what we was invited to. Yeah. Just cause cause I didn't know anything about the Diddy parties. Right. I didn't know. But that was the year Miami was like holding the sign and this particular artist, she was holding like Go Poppy sign. And then the artist I was with from Love and Hip Hop, she wanted Diddy. She was like, I want to be with Diddy. Like that's the life I want. And she was like, all I have to do is meet him. And I was like, period. But maybe not tonight. Like, let's go to the Empire party. I was like, that's that girl's man for sure. Yeah. Like, but no, they were determined. So we were kind of like literally in the car, like kind of going back and forth. And I seriously for a while thought we were going to the Empire party. And then at a certain point, I'm like, all right, it's clear we're not going to the Empire party. We're in these hills. We're driving through these hills. And we get to his house. And everyone's super excited. Everyone's like, and I'm like, okay, well, I look out the window and I see a long line. Yeah. Like, remember I said I couldn't see the end of the crowd at the Jazz Fest? That's how the line was. That's how the line was. I ain't see the end of that line. And the line, it was like, I'm gonna be so for real right now. The line was all very, very young girls. I was like, I don't know if they're legal. Like, they were very underdressed. It's late at night. It's super late at night at this point. They're underdressed and they're very, very young. And I was just like, they were getting their stuff and I was like, okay, you guys go have fun. I'm just waiting in the truck. Yeah. Because I've always just been kind of like, I'm a princess. I'm very much a princess. I'm not waiting in no line. Facts. I'm not waiting in no line. So I don't know what the situation was, if we had to wait in the line, if we were going to skip the line. I don't know, but I just was like, I can already tell, like, I'm not dressed like them. And yeah, so it was kind of like an issue. They ended up not going in because I wouldn't go in. Right. So she cut me off. Like, she does not deal with me anymore. That's why I'm not naming her name. But it's just, I always wonder, like, now that everything came out, I always wonder, like, if she's still mad at me or, you know, like what her mind frame is about that now. Facts. Because, yeah, I just was, when I actually read Cassie's lawsuit, I honestly, I got really like, I got scared because I realized a lot of the things that happened to her, people had tried to do to me. Like people had tried to Cassie me like multiple times. So I kind of like, when I read that, I really just like kind of withdrew. And I remember like last year, a lot of people weren't sure at a certain point, or not last year, but the year before I released Bounce, people weren't sure if I was still an artist, if I was still doing music, but I kind of withdrew because I was like, I have to figure out how I'm going to do this. Yes. Because it's clear that like to be a part of the industry, you have to go with what people are trying to get you to do. Like they want to use you in certain ways before they'll pop you up on their platform. And I had already said no so many times that I was like, I don't even know like if I'm going to be able to be in the music industry. So that's when I started kind of figuring out like, how to just be my own independent artist and how to connect with my listeners and connect with my audience in a meaningful way so that I don't have to go in the Diddy party.
Yeah. So that withdrawing moment, when you withdrew, what was like some, I guess, work that you did to kind of come to your decision?
Well, first of all, I had to take ashwagandha. I had to take a lot of it because I had to reset my nervous system. I was actually traumatized from reading the lawsuit, from reading more stuff like in the blogs. I watched I didn't watch, obviously we couldn't watch the actual trial, but I watched people's reviews like that were in the courtroom, like multiple people's reviews every day. Like I was too inundated with it all. And everything that people were describing were things that I had been like around and seeing, and people trying to get me to do certain, and it's like, you realize at a certain point, it's not normal and it's not good for your mental health to keep having to say no and keep having to think, well, do I want to do that? Do I want to? It's not good for you. So I took a lot of ashwagandha, reset my nervous system, meditating, praying, and honestly just focus on motherhood. And I was like, if anything, I know that I'm somebody's mom. Yeah. So I have to be the best mom I can be. So I kind of just like focused on that while also, still doing my music, but just making sure that like I knew that it's important that my mental health is strong and that I'm able to be here for my daughter.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
That is important. So do you go to therapy?
No, I used to.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to. So when I was in a domestic violence relationship. That's why, that's what my book is about. So when I first, actually before I left, I was in therapy. I actually started therapy before it got violent because I knew something was wrong. Yeah. I just didn't know what. Mm-hmm. So I started therapy, and then it helped me because once it got violent, I was like, okay, now I know it's time to leave. Yeah. And I think I just needed that big sign to leave. I'm spending all this money going to therapy, and it was like, okay, now that I got beat up and I'm in the hospital in the ER in the ambulance, now I know, okay, it's just time to go. So I feel like I've really taken a lot of what I learned in therapy from then and just keep applying it to my life now.
Nice. So about this book, what is the name of it?
So it's called Overcoming Intimate Partner Violence.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it's a collection of essays and poems. Shout out to Jordan Taylor. She's the poet in the book. And it was just so crazy because when I finished writing all the chapters, I reached out to her and I was like, hey, I was wondering if I could include some of your poems in my book. Girl, she was like, let me just send you some poems. The poems that she sent perfectly aligned with each chapter.
Yeah. Without her reading it?
Without her reading it.
Wow. There goes that alignment word again.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was really cool. And people that have read it have said it's super relatable and that it has helped them. My aunt read it. I'm not trying to tell my aunt's age, but she's in her 70s. Yeah. She don't look it though. Mm-hmm. And she was saying that my book was very relatable for her. So I think, my goal was just to help other victims, and that's any gender, any victim of intimate partner violence, because it comes in a lot of different ways. It's not just physical. Yeah. It can be emotional, it's mental, it can be financial. Mm-hmm. So it's just to help people see there are lots of signs, and you kind of, you have opportunities to pick up on them and make a decision for how you want your life to look. Facts.
Mm-hmm. I talk to my inner circle about that all the time. I think in the beginning, we don't recognize the red flags, and it's because possibly something is, missing on the inside of us, or we haven't come to we're not honest with ourselves, for lack of better words. So it's kind of one of my best friends, she just wants to get married so bad and have a kid. And I'm just like, yeah, but you're settling. So you have to recognize that is what you want. Take accountability for that's what you want, so that we can get to, the end goal in a positive way and not just settle for anything.
Right. So, yeah. And it's so crazy because I actually ended up releasing a song called Red Flags. Maybe a year after I wrote the book, but it's just about that. It's the lyrics, I ran through stop signs. Those are the real red flags.
Just running through full speed, 120 miles per hour, just going through it.
For real.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. What made you get to the point to where you was just like, I gotta fix this?
With the domestic violence?
Yeah. Situation? Granted, going through therapy and everything, but what even, I guess, triggered the point of let me go through therapy so that I can fix this?
I was willing and ready to die about that situation. And that's what made me realize, I have a whole life to live. Yeah. And I will lay it all out because this man is lying and cheating and sneaking.
Girl, I'm gonna throw this
that's just not it. Yes. Yeah, I'm God didn't put me on earth to deal with that.
Yes.
Yeah. And there was at one point where he asked me, he was like, you know, you want to die? You want to die? And I was like, I'll die as long as I know the truth. I want to die knowing the truth. So yeah. And he was threatening me.
Yeah.
But I was like, I want to know the truth. And just like waking up in the ER after all that, realizing like I was ready to lose my life. Because I wanted to know if he was cheating or not.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. But there's a lot of people living like that.
Literally.
A lot of people like stuck in these spells, like seriously. And so it's like, that's kind of my music. I try to have a high vibration so I can help people to come out of that.
How does one assist in helping somebody walk through that? Because, you know, the last thing you want to hear is you need to leave, you need to do this, you need to do that. So how does a friend help my friend who's in a situation like that?
I was telling someone recently, people make better decisions when they have options.
Got it.
So what I try to do is provide options for my friends. I've offered people to stay with me, even though I knew they could not stay with me. Like I didn't have the room for them to stay with me or nothing.
Okay.
But I offered it because I know if they know that they have an option, they'll make a better decision.
Got it. Okay.
And it works. It has worked in my experience with like, whether it's like friends or like family or someone trying to figure out what college they're going to. I just feel like when I help them see what all the options are, they make a better decision.
Got it. So just showing up instead of
and just being there.
Just, presence. Got it. Oh, that's good. Oh, that is so good. All right. So I believe, oh goodness, my mind is going blank. I wanted to touch on something else, but I don't recall what it is. Are you working with something called patchwork?
Patchwork, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Could you tell me a little about that?
Yeah, I was. I interned at Patchwork.
Okay.
I almost completed the whole year, but I had to have surgery and I was on bed rest and stuff. But I'm okay now. Okay. But yeah, I interned at Patchwork. It was so cool. I got to meet so many people, and like probably one of the coolest experiences. I got to introduce YK Niece to Uncle Sam. Do you know who Uncle Sam is?
No.
He sings that song. It's like, I don't ever want to see you again.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he came to the studio one night and it was just so funny because everyone was like, who is this man? He was like, he wanted a tour right there on site. He's like, I want a tour. I'm like, period. And people were like, he says his name is Uncle Sam. And I was like, Uncle Sam. Everyone's like, who's that? So I pull up the YouTube video and I show them. Everyone's like, oh my God, it's Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
But yeah, I walked. So they kind of escorted me to him because I was so excited. And it's funny because I've actually met so many celebrities at Patchwork, even before Patchwork. This was the most excited I've ever been about a celebrity because my boyfriend that died, that was his favorite song. He used to watch the video every day. I was like, somebody hurt you, baby. Because why are you watching that every day?
Yeah.
But he used to watch it every day, multiple times a day. And I used to always think like, I just wish I could meet Uncle Sam one day so I could introduce him to him. You know, he passed away, but it was like when I got to meet him, I was like, this is literally something I wished for. Like I was like, I want to meet Uncle Sam so that, because I just felt like it would be like a dream come true. So I got to meet him, and that same night, YK Niece was in the studio. And she was just walking around. She was so cool. She was recording, but she was like at one point walking around and she walked past us. And Uncle Sam, you know, he's older now. He's an older gentleman. He's like a God-fearing man. He creates gospel music. He works with gospel artists. And he just was like, who's this young lady? And I was like, this is YK Niece. She's lit. And he's like, what? So I was like, let me show you. So I pull up, you know, the song that she had just did. What was the second song she came out with? That the Wham, not Wham. When Whammy, no, what's the second song? When Whammy was the first one she was on, right?
I don't even recall.
Well, whatever it was, I knew it word for word at the time. Yeah. I still know it. I'm just talking a lot. But I showed him the video. I was like, look, and she's standing right there. And I'm like, she's a star. And it was just so cool because she didn't know who he was. Yeah. You know? So I got to show her his video. And I'm like, it's just like cross-generation. Like, it was so cool. But just both of them were so humble. Yeah. YK, he's super, super humble. Really nice person. And then he's super humble. Like I said, he walked in and no one even knew. Like people didn't realize who he was for real. And it's just cool to know that he walks around this world. Like he just walks around this world. Like no one, you know, people don't have an idea of who he is sometimes. But it's like once you remember, go back to the 90s, you was that guy.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. So I think it's like really inspirational. Like that moment's super inspirational for me. Cause I'm like, it shows you I feel like sometimes when I look at celebrities and their lives, it's discouraging. Like it doesn't make me feel like I want to live like that. Yeah. You know, but seeing someone like him, it's like, he's got it going on.
Does.
You know, so.
He's come to, I guess, that realization of how to create like his own world and be peaceful.
Very, yeah.
Nice. So what I've been hearing a lot during this interview is you're very good at manifesting. Is that like something that you created like along the way?
I actually got good at that as a kid. Yeah. There was I've actually never talked about this, but I dealt with abuse as a kid, not from my parents.
Yeah.
But I dealt with abuse, and I remember I was scared to tell my parents. You know, as a child, you don't know. You think like, oh, I'm gonna get in trouble if I say something. But I remember there was a certain point where I would know, like, if I was going around, you know, the person that was abusing me, I would pray. And I would just pray like silently in the car. No one knew I was praying, but I would pray. And the days that I would pray, that person would stay away from me. And the days I didn't pray. So I feel like I learned very, very young. I was maybe like 5 years old.
Yeah.
And so I learned how to keep them demons away.
Nice. Nice. All right. So we've touched on so many different things, and I want the followers, the listeners, to kind of keep up with you. What are some different ways that they can get in contact with you, follow you on your socials, all of that?
Yes, you guys stay in touch. My website has everything, karlehmusic.com. My Instagram is also Karléh Music, and my TikTok, which y'all got to get on y'all Zoom. Okay, get on TikTok, is Hey Karléh.
Because I definitely got to get on TikTok.
Yeah,
it's just, I feel like you got to keep up with it, and I'm just
you
kind of
do, because I was really busy one week, and so I wasn't really on TikTok. When I got back on, baby, it was so much happening. I was like, I gotta catch up with the world and the news. But yeah, TikTok is I love TikTok, and also like it's helped my song to go crazy. So I always have like a special place in my heart for TikTok, and I feel like I can really be myself on there.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, well, guys, make sure that you follow her on TikTok. Thank you for watching another episode of the Middle Child Podcast with your girl, Royal Bowes, and my amazing guest, Karléh. Until next time, you already know that you are seen here, you are appreciated here, and most definitely, you are loved here on the Middle Child Podcast. And until next time, have an amazing day.